Hey everybody, this is Stacy, and in this short video we're going to go over the floor plan. What is the floor plan? Who needs to have the floor plan? And what sheets flow from the floor plan? This is part of our basics module, and if you're trying to learn about the basics or deepen your technical skills, please make sure to join us here on YouTube. And better yet, purchase a module you can keep for life, and we will update it as we update each of the modules. Please subscribe, join, and hit the bell notification. And so let's talk about the floor plan. Okay, so the floor plan is all the new walls that are built. And let's get to it. There we go. And looking at the full set. So the floor plan is going to tell us all of the new walls that are built. So when we're looking at a architectural set, everything on the right band is going to be the same. And so, except for here, it's going to tell us what sheet we're looking at and the page number for that sheet. But most of this is all going to be the same. The project location, name, architect's information, and then we have some keynotes. Okay, and so the keynotes tell us, what's marked on the plans, and basically gives us general information that the plans maybe don't give us. And the cloud, that means it's been revised at least once, and I think again today. And so we have to make sure that we account for the revisions, and when we submit the estimate, you always have to make sure that you say this estimate is placed on plans and specifications dated the revision date. Keep that in mind. Okay, and so when I look at a floor plan, you're going to look for the wall legend and the type of walls that are going to be built. And so in this set, I'm looking here, and the first thing I notice is that it's not telling me anything about the different walls. It's telling me about the windows. So I'm sure there's another sheet, which we have here. Now, if we notice in this set, we have something called the floor plan, okay, to scale. But it doesn't mark each of the walls, so I don't know what wall is what. Then on the next page, we have something called the dimension plan. Basically, it's the floor plan with all of the walls that are marked. Okay, and so the floor plan is going to give us the ability to measure how many linear feet of each type of wall. And so we're going to look for the wall tag. And somewhere on here, it's going to tell us the different wall types. And we can go from there and determine, what our wall configuration, if it's wood, metal, the size of the drywall, acoustical, sealant, top and bottom, those types of things. So, first concern. Now, who needs the floor plan? Well, the framer, of course, and the drywall person, right? Because they need to know two things: how many linear feet of wall, which the floor plan will give you, but then you also, which is vital to preparing a very detailed, pinpointed, bare bones estimate, is to make sure you know what the heights of the walls are. And there should be somehow a way, either from the wall schedule, and more than not from section views. And we have a few section views here where we have this type. Okay, so we have, this is a section view marker: circle, little hat, leg, foot. And basically what this does is it cuts the wall at this point, and you have to use your imagination. So for instance, I always think of if this is a knife and I'm cutting the walls from the roof to the bottom of the foundation, I'll open this up and I'm standing here and I'm looking in that direction. Okay, so we have two section views here. We have this one. And what's the purpose of the section view? When we look at that section view, that's going to give us our second dimension that our framer needs, our height of the wall. Okay, and so that is, so what is this section view? It's giving us, it's going through these walls. Okay, and so it's giving us those heights. This is going through these walls, and they may cross, but they're going to give us different perspectives. So now with this one, we're going to be looking in that direction. If we look at this section view, 2 over A501, we're going to be looking in that direction. And so let's go to each of the section views just very quickly. And again, our framer looks at the floor plan for one thing: how many linear feet of each type of wall do we have? Then they have to go to some type of section view, some kind of something, to assist them in determining the height of the wall. Right here we have 2 section views, one of the 4 views. We have plan view, view from above, that's what this is. Then we have a section view that has a section view marker. With this, the architect is telling us, if you go to image number 1 on page A501, you're going to have that view that we mentioned. So let's do that right now. And this is 102. We need to go to 501. We just gonna guess that's 503. Okay, so all wall section views. Okay, let's take a look. So remember, it was like we were up here looking down from the plan view. Okay, and now we cut that top to bottom, and now we're looking in here. Now we can see our section views. Okay, so if I am, okay, let me stop right here now. If I'm the framer, I'm going to get this section view. If I'm the roofer, I'm going to get this section view, because I need to look at my roofing. Okay, and part of the roofing section view, if I'm the roofer, part of the A plans, okay, part of a set we're going to review. If I'm the roofer, then I have to go one more step, even the framer, because this has a detail, what we call a detail call out. So if I'm the framer and my scope of work is within this call out, then I have to follow that detail, because the architect, again, by the symbols and call outs and everything like that, that's their way of talking to me, telling me there's something more about this wall construction that you need to know that you don't see in this picture. So you're going to go to a third picture. Same concept applies. Image number 1 over A550. Okay, so that's the section view. So now I know, as the framer, I have at my exterior at that section at A over 1 over at that section. So let's go back there to the floor plan, and that was the dimension. So it's telling me that's this view that I'm looking at. So this is giving me a different view, but that's a wall section. And so this is giving me very limited section views. I don't only have to build the walls where the section view is. I have to build these walls. Excuse me. I have to build all the way around. So how is that helping me? What I would say, because of doing this so many times or so much, that whatever I see at this section, that exterior wall, it looks like it, whatever I see here is going to extend. At some points it's going to have that brick veneer, Okay. And at some points it's not. Okay. And so for same for this one. This is more so for the interior walls. And then we have another one here for this vestibule. But then again, that's a building section view. That's a building section view. Building section view. So it cuts the building. So let's take a look at that. 3/A500. Where's the wall section? There we go. See how it cuts the wall? And so, I mean, you can use the wall section view for to determine the heights too. This is a good wall section view. Okay. And some walls have insulation. You can even tell it's something. But the finish schedule is going to tell you what that is. You know, but strictly we're talking about framing. So yeah, this is good. You can determine all those interior walls. And rule of thumb, typically, you know, unless it's a wall, structure wall, it's 10 feet like these or somewhere close to it. It's a structure wall because it's on the footing, so it goes the full length, and some parapet wall above the roof framing. Okay, so that's easy. That's good. So they're like, yeah, I'm not gonna give you good interior section views, but I'm gonna give you good building section views, and you can determine the heights of the studs in those areas. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's not something you can complain about. Okay, so framer, I'm looking at the floor plan. Now I've done quite a few things here already. So I know how many linear feet of each type of wall. And basically it marks walls 2 and 3, and it says everything else is wall 1 unless it's noted. And so that's all the yellow where it's wall 1. Okay, and so the framer has the length from here, the height from here. Okay, so height of the wall under the window, height above. Okay, so that's walls. That's walls for the framer. The framer also has to do gypsum or the drywall. So let me take that off. So just like we, you know, in this case, we just have to measure the area, figure out what these are. These may be beams, you know, either below or below, you know, above. We have to figure out what that is with respect to our, so it's C2, it's a column. Well, no, it can't be a column. They're calling it C2. It's something. It's a beam that goes across, but the purpose of our drywall, we just need our area. And so that was easy. ACT's here, unless I'm the ACT person too. Sometimes the drywall does the ACT too. Okay. But no. Okay, and let's find out our wall schedule. We know we have to do wall 1, wall 2. Let's get in here and look at the conceptual view. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. We need to find our wall configuration because you're always going to look for that as the framer. It's our exterior elevations. So from here we can determine if we're doing any of the brick veneer. Easy to measure your measure everything you need. Exterior elevations on all sides and some interior. No, this all courtyard. Okay, outside courtyard. Okay, here are the walls. Okay, so wall 1. Okay, even though 3-inch sound blankets doesn't show it, you know, I guess they want to show there's a difference. Okay, so those are the different types of walls. And it shows that they're all going up to the roof joists, to the roof trusses. But that's not what it looks like on the section views. And so I'm going to go with this, going up to the roof truss. So it's like 12, 16 feet depending. Okay, and so that's our, and we know that it says wood studs. So wood studs, that's missing a lot. Because we could have various sizes, so you know, we just have to do the assumption that we are assuming 2x6 at the exterior, and maybe at the bathroom that might be maybe 2x8 wood studs. Okay, so you got to know what size, or you know, look at the dimension plan. So okay, so let's go back to that. And we can determine from that, because it should tell us that width. There's something in there, because these are, the dimension plan gives you measurements, right? So here are measurements from hash mark to hash mark. That's the length. So from here to there, because this length and this length of wall are parallel. And so when you have two parallel lines and you have the length of one, you can assume that that is the length of the other. So that's how we do that one. Okay, and so we can do the same thing if we find something that gives us our width. Oh, okay. 3.5. 3.5. So we just say 4-inch studs. Yeah, 6, 4, 4, 2x4s basically. It says wood. And now this is five and a half, so 6-inch studs. And let's go back to wall section, building section, wall sections, all the different wall sections. So yeah, when you're given that, okay, so let's go back to, let's do material quantities. And what's this? A detail call out. So let's go to 2/A550, because again, if I'm the framer and I see that my scope of work, roofer, framer, whatever, exterior finishes, if I see that scope within this call out, I have to follow that call out. So let's go to 2/A550. Where are we? 2/A550, 2/A, 2/A, oh my goodness, 2/A552, A552. All right, so metal coping, that's our roofer scope of work. And then we've got a lot of framing scopes of work, a lot of rough framing scope of work, the prefab showing us how it has to sit. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like, no, that's not the same size, or is it? No, it's not. Well, it doesn't look like it. All right, so for the purpose of doing a takeoff, a material takeoff for this rough carpentry, those look, that one, that looks the same size, but we can measure it. And so the section is a portion of the wall. So when we measured how many linear feet at this section, then that's how many linear feet of what we see here. So if we measured 60 linear feet of this section from the floor plan, then we have 60 feet of this one, 60 feet of that one, 60 feet of that one, 60 feet of that one, 60 feet of that, 60 feet, times 3 of that, 60 feet of that, 60, you get it? That way you can do a very accurate material takeoff. Okay? So that's how you do that. That's why it's very vital that you go from plan view to section view to detail view. The whole purpose is that's the way the architect communicates what they need you to know. Okay, and so that's vital. Okay, so we're going to end the floor plan here. Oh, no, we're not, because you know what else we got to do? Let's go through the full set again. Okay, so in this study, we'll take it a little slower, because you know what, the floor plan is like very detailed, and there's so many places that you have to jump to when you're when you're dealing with the floor plan. So let me make sure I slow it down. The framer needs the floor plan. Drywall person needs a floor plan. If you're doing the doors, yeah, you need the floor plan. You know, and if you're rough carpentry, like plywood, that kind of stuff, you know, you need the floor plan. Okay, and so what does the floor plan give us? Okay, so the floor plan's purpose is to show us all the new wall construction. Okay, so the plan from the plan view, which is the view from above, we use this set. We scale it. We make sure that it's to scale. And so everything we measure, we're measuring correctly. And in this set, they show you the full plan without marking off the walls. So that's the main thing that the framer needs is, what type of wall construction am I dealing with? Wood? Am I dealing with metal or something else? I don't know what else could be. LVL beam. Sometimes I've seen those used as wall framing. You know, for the framing for the walls, not for the beams and stuff. Okay, but this set has what they call a dimension plan, which has a lot of dimensions or measurements already on there. So if you don't happen to have a good takeoff software, you can match up parallel segments or sections of wall and know how long they are from hash mark to hash mark. So from here to here is 4 feet. That matches up from this section to that section. So we know, and that's basically like a window or whatever. So we know that the opening of that window is 4 feet. Okay, same here at the doors. All right, symbol for doors, the little wings. We know that from the one end of the column to the other end of the column, it's a full hash mark to hash mark, number in the middle, 10 feet 8 inches. But we know that this section takes up 1 foot 2 inches, hash mark. Okay, so dimension plan. This also gives us all of the necessary wall tags. It's the tag that's connected to the wall that tells us, describes the wall. So like we saw before, there's a wall schedule giving us how this wall is to be constructed. So the plan view is going to give you one thing you need to build the wall. The other thing you need is to go to the section views for the height. Right? So 1/501. That's at that section. But I'm the framer, so I'm going to have to follow 5/501 because this, my whole wall is in this detail call out. That's a detail call out, or that's another section of the building. Okay, and so that's how the framer gets the height. Section views, very important. And if you have a call out, If your scope of work, like in the case we just saw, prior to just the last one, if your scope of work is shown, you have to follow that detail to see what else you need to add. Okay, and so last thing the framer needs are the wall types. See where we're going to find that at. Nope, we're in plumbing. Not a traditionally set plans, let me tell you. Oh, I already did it. Okay. A zillion of these. So, framer also needs the door and the frame schedule. So that's going to give us the frame information, and this tells us all hollow metal, usually commercial hollow metal, and how we're supposed to, if we're also painting. You know, the painter needs this too, but okay. And so the framer needs that because they need to frame all of the door frames. They typically don't install the doors, but the frames, yes. So you look at the door frames, the doors frame and schedule. There is a input for every door. So even if the door frames are the exact same type, it's going to be in there. Okay, it's going to be there, and this is a pair. See, it says 2. Gotta have 2 dots. So it's actually 4. Okay, and so that's how we do it, and that's what the framer needs. So next we're going to go to, and of course we already went over the reflective ceiling plan, so we know that. Okay, so and look for that jib. Okay, so this was going to end the floor plan presentation. We're going to hit some of the other ones. Let's go to the roof plan and finish up what is in our architectural set. That's what we're covering right now. Okay, and let me know what you think. Subscribe, and thank you very much for joining.